Vamos a jugar. Oye, what was I left with? I don't remember what I did yesterday. I don't think I'll do it that long though. Back of the lack of the back of the fact. I gotta get rid of 10 hype.
The next level of nerds. Nerds Gummy Clusters. A crunchy outside with a sweet gummy center.
Bro, what the fuck,
Shake
man?
things up.
I don't wanna get on your
When
fucking
your hotel room
OnlyFans.
is your bedroom, and your living room, and your dining room.
Shut
The score that you actually didn't predict correctly was the Manchester derby, but I imagine that
Tell
you
them about
are over the
OnlyFans.
moon with the result nonetheless.
Go get your own
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot
OnlyFans.
of people talking about Man United's downfall, and we'll certainly do that on this podcast, like I love to do. But we have to talk about City winning the game at Old Trafford 3-0, returning back to a level of form that saw us win multiple Premier Leagues in a row, winning the Champions League. I know we've had a discussion online about how significant it is against a bad Man United side. Going to Old Trafford and dominating the game for 20 minutes like that is worthy of a side that City look like a side that want to win the Premier League. City look like a side that have won the Premier League in 40 years. We look hungry.
Yeah.
We look desperate to win it.
Okay, this is interesting because I think on the live stream you and I sort of clashed over this. I think it's an interesting debate. Effectively, I'm saying that beating Manchester United, despite the fact that I do obviously understand the significance of the fixture, the rivalry, the inter-city hatred, what it represents, we have to bring in the context of who Manchester United are today. And of course you beat them.
Yeah,
if you look
that's
at
off.
if you look at who they've lost to so far this season, I just don't think that this result. I think everything you're saying about City is true. By the way, you are looking hungry. You are looking brilliant. The way that you dominated the game was fantastic.
Fantastic.
But it was against a lacklustre Manchester United, who, rightly or wrongly, I feel now are going to be on the cusp of a managerial sacking.
You think that? You think it's that kind of performance where they'll be looking into it a little bit?
Actually,
Yeah.
this isn't me suggesting that they should sack him. This isn't me saying I think it's right for Ten Hag to lose his job. It's actually not what I think at all. I just think that the club are moving in a direction. The performances are now so severely bad. The signings that he's made are drastically underperforming.
Yes, people, what's going on? This is another clip brought to you by the club, and Super 6 are fantastic sponsors. Remember, this week there's 2 opportunities to win Super 6. That means you could potentially win 250 grand twice. Yes, if you predict 6 correct scorelines, you could be within a chance. So make sure you're downloading that app, get your predictions in. It's free to play. You have to be over 18 and join our league as well. The code is Club23. See you there.
I don't really see how it's going to be possible for him to keep his job long term unless things turn.
Absolutely. I don't think the Glazers will do that at all. I think they will sit tight. They know that sacking the manager, whilst it could bring a short term in terms of a spike of results and stuff like that, I think ultimately wouldn't.
Molesting.
You know, it wouldn't. It would mean the fans just
Tell
get
that
even
Portugal
harder
thing.
on their backs. And I think with this looming kind of Sir Jim Ratcliffe in the last 25% taking over the football side of things, I think the Glazers will wait for that to come into effect. Pretty much like they did in the summer.
Yeah, I think
Like they weren't.
Let's buy some
I know we made a few signs in the
87s.
summer, but they weren't
I'm gonna
overly
fucking
active.
get rid of all my goddamn money.
Manchester
Goddamn
United
money.
drop out of the Champions League and are languishing somewhere around mid-table. I think regardless of what's going on with with a takeover or a potential takeover. The club are £1 billion in debt. They need to be in the European Cup. The valuation of the club is ridiculous.
Surreal, 10 billion.
It's impossible for that to be an accurate valuation.
No, of course not.
No, it's
an accurate forecast, is it?
and no, it's not accurate at all.
But they want 10 billion.
Yeah, I know, but it's not. It's just not built.
Surreal.
You know when you work out sort of the commercial sponsorship and the TV rights and whatever
Oh,
else.
Z-Man.
It's so far off.
La 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 la. Oh, Z-Man.
It basically says they don't want to sell the
Da-na-na,
club.
da-na-na,
United failure on the
da-na-na.
pitch still leads to business success for them financially, and that is obviously a disgusting thing for United fans to hear. And even as a City fan, I hate everything United.
Puro
sort of
pinche
stand for at
tacky
some
man,
level.
bro.
They're still a massive institution of a club, and how can there's 3 examples for me. Bayern Munich, they went away to Bayern Munich, got absolutely pummeled, and there was a scoreline coming
Right,
over a lot of
disgusting.
tracks. They got City,
Ah.
their nearest rivals, that every year they just want to treble City. They just want to treble. And the last performance that they had was in the FA Cup final. They had the opportunity to stop that treble happening. The following game now, which is obviously this game, they've just been smashed 3-0. So there's no fight, there's no hunger, there's no progression.
Yeah, there should be.
Say, hang on, you won the treble. F this, we want to get better.
Manchester United fans, particularly Manchester United fans who were going to Old Trafford, would have been very fearful of playing Manchester City
Okay, I need
at Old
defense
Trafford, the
us.
first game off the back of them winning the treble. You
Oh,
think the
that's for
fans are
sure.
going to give it, they're going to beat it. Like, it's just a horrible time. And you think the one thing that our team can do
Good
is
toto.
really perform, really turn up. Make sure that we win this game. Okay, we lost the cup final. Okay, they won the league. Okay, they won the European Cup. But we're going to
Okay,
make sure
okay, okay.
There are Dell Edge devices that
There
scale
are Dell
concentration
Edge
at a level
devices.
that have never been
Cachate,
seen
oh,
before.
shiulu.
pouring rain as grim as possible for you.
Bro, what
Instead
the
of
heck?
that, you plugged in the jukebox and made it a party for them.
Yeah, I think Hansi coming on is symbolic of everything wrong with United in terms of he comes
Hell,
on,
they're
he's
down.
got something to prove to the manager. Hey, I want to be starting these games. He
These
comes on,
games.
He hacks down Doku because he gets beat, and he doesn't apply himself. He gives away a free kick that could have led to the 4th goal.
It's
I
interesting
said
you bring him
that
up there.
when, like, you know, when I said to you, like, during the game, like, if this was me, I'd just start booting people and getting sent off. That's me. I'm an amateur. Yeah. When you're playing for a team like Manchester United, you want to see some sort.
It's Manchester United we're talking about.
Some form of, let's trust ourselves here. Let's back ourselves. When you see players just booting people, as much as I want to see that, you know, it makes me feel better about myself.
Yeah, you're wrong.
It's ultimately
You know you're
not
wrong
what
as
you
well.
want to
Yeah,
see,
yeah, you're wrong.
because
Yeah.
you want to see players that are still confident in their ability, still confident in the team around them, and that when you start booting people around, it's because you know you've lost. You know it's over, and the only way
And
you
you've got
can do
nothing else.
anything is
You've got
just
nothing
hurt.
else to offer, and you haven't even got that to offer. Like, you didn't really hurt him, did you?
You know what I mean? Like, that's
Do you know what they do? So with that in mind, I think you bringing up Anthony's an interesting one because
Right.
I started talking about Manchester United and Eric Ten Hag, and I believe that he's now under pressure, and I could see them making a decision on that. He's part of the reason I
Dang,
think they're
those
under pressure. I
must-
think he's making some bad decisions, Ten Hag. I think his signings have been pretty much woeful, and he is the public face of that. Do you agree with Adam, where Adam's saying like the sacking isn't even on the horizon, or do you think that? Or do you agree with me where you could see it happening or somewhere in between?
I weirdly think United, because of the ownership situation, nothing's going to change it drastically in the next 12 months, 18 months. So whoever goes in there could be anyone. It could
But the
be
history of United tells you as well, under the Glazers in the last 10 years, they only sack managers when it becomes almost like the obvious thing to do. You know, like the very last.
Are we not inching towards that with Ten Hag?
No.
I think Ten Hag was great
David
this
Moyes.
season.
David Moyes got sacked when it was mathematically impossible for him to get Champions League football. Everything had fallen apart. Van Gaal got sacked when he just won an FA Cup, granted, but
Yeah.
Champions League football could be won. Mourinho got sacked. It was so bad for Mourinho for so long. Like there's a lot. Like Ten Hag won his last 3 before this.
God damn it, bro. What the hell?
I'm not saying it's been a good season. It's been a horrible season. We've lost like half of our games.
Yeah.
But having that 3-game winning streak and then losing, you know, it kind of now.
You say that you've won those games, and the headlines is the fact is that you have.
Oh, we're
But let's
boring.
face it, you've nicked a result.
They
against
named Brentford
Brentford.
United.
Brentford
Un
nicked it.
central, más o menos, eso.
Yeah, that Brentford game as well has seen us stuck with McTominay forever.
So I just see a world where they could sack him, and you know it's all very well using the David Moyes. David Moyes got sacked when top tier European football became an impossibility. I don't think we're a million miles away from top-tier European football becoming an
I think there's a
impossibility.
weird-
Manchester United fairly soon.
He has this weird ability to. I thought they were dross last season. I know they got to 2 finals and they won the league.
Good last year.
I thought the way they played football was really poor and ugly at points, and I think they got this weird ability to be ugly and grind out results and maybe come top 4, and that's why I don't think he'll get sacked.
Do you think they can still get top 4?
Just. I'm not saying they're favourite.
Wait, okay. Who doesn't then?
So it's City,
It's a long way to
Arsenal.
go in the season.
Yeah, no, of course, but like, there's a long way to go in the season for everyone. There's a long way to go for Chelsea, but I don't think Chelsea.
But we're saying
It's a
if
long
Frankfurt
way
get
to
10
the
out,
top
they'll
if
get
you
top
want to
4,
rock
he's
and
sacked.
roll.
So he is sat then, because you're right, because it's going to be
That's
hard.
what
It's
I'm
going to be hard, actually.
But
It's going to be hard.
You
Because
were
Spurs come out of nowhere.
You were intimating there that he's going to get top 4.
No, I'm not saying he's going to get top 4. I said there's a world where one of those sides, Liverpool could drop
Lautaro.
because of the gaps in the squad.
Let's do
Maybe. I don't think
Lautaro.
they will because of the quality they got on
Mate,
the pitch.
if you're reckoning for Ten Hag keeping his job is that Man United finish above Liverpool, he's sacked.
I know. It's thin.
It's thin.
But I thought it was thin last
They are
season.
going to be sacked.
Tottenham have done him a mischief.
So why would he be sacked if he fell to the Champions League this season?
Anyway, the Glazers want to bring more
Ahorita lo hacemos.
They all wait for the Ineos people to come in and make their decision. All Ratchet, etc. And actually, that could be what Ten Hag needs. Is like other people to come in around it. Because that's what he had at Ajax. That's what he had everywhere
Yeah,
else.
it just
The
needs
fact
to
that we've kind of
leave.
gone to him, you scout the players, sign the players, do this, do that.
He ain't good enough.
You think enough in him to think that he is the right man for the job.
I like Ten Hag. I've seen enough in him last season.
Instead of this, use that. Use the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra from Manscaped.
What
It's
the
skin
fuck,
safe,
man?
I've seen enough of him. I know this sounds very little, but like just when he speaks about football, speaks about the club. But in the last month, some of the decisions he's been making have left me worried. Like, what direction are we going
You
in?
know, it's weird. I'm not suggesting. I think as football fans, we're all sort of naturally hypocritical. But I've just watched 90 minutes of football with you, and you've effectively slandered everything about United. The fact that McTominay started, the substitutions that were made, the starting lineup, the tactics, everything was wrong. And yet you go, but Ten Hag's a man.
Yeah. I don't feel as confident as I at that point.
United today.
No, but I'm also very understandable that things can change very quickly in football. And whilst someone may be getting things wrong now, they can still get things right. And also last season he did get it right.
Yeah,
so there's a big backlog of evidence.
Right's a big word, isn't it?
No, he did, bro. He came in.
I just think it's undeniable that
When he came in, you like were predicting United going to finish 6th, they're not going to win anything, all this shit.
That's true.
It's true now.
Like, and then he finished 3rd, got us trophies, etc. But I think what's happened this year is going to change the way we're playing. Players have been injured. He's made some strange decisions around the likes of McTominay and that. And it's just all seeming. And then, like, you look at, again, this is what makes me scratch my head even further. Like, Hannibal Mabry. I've not seen him. He came in, played 2 games, did really well. I've not seen him since.
I'm kidding, you're sure.
No, but I'm not.
I know what you're trying to say.
There's an option there that isn't McTominay. There's an option there that isn't
Aaron's on instead of Anthony for 5 minutes. That's
No,
that's a marginal decision.
that's not fair.
Yo me encargo.
You've got to look at the players he's brought in. Banana, Mount,
Yeah.
Hoyland. Arguably the 3 best signings in the league.
I'm not starting to weird. He's twice the player McTominay.
3 of those signings are
10 times up there.
top 3 were 3 out of 5 are the worst signings
They're
in the
good
league.
players though. They're good players. It's just wish.
Mount's not been good for 2 years.
That's true.
Mount's not been. I don't think Mount's a good signing. I don't think it works.
Anana in the Premier League is looking.
I thought Onana was our best player in the derby.
I mean, he made a few mistakes as well, though, didn't he?
He also stopped it from being 7-0.
Yeah, but he also could have ended up contributing. Like, if the ball had fallen a slightly different way when he made an exer of it, they'd win 5-0.
Maybe, but
And then Hoyland I hear a lot of.
But then the thing is, we've got Onana playing on his line. That's what makes me mad as well. Like, you brought Onana in so we can bring our play further up the pitch, right? He's playing on his line. He doesn't even play.
Can't do it against Brighton.
No, but I'm not on about just the City game.
I think you.
No, I'm not.
We just lost against
You can do it against
Why
Brighton.
can't I bring up Brighton? They did it to you at Old Trafford.
No, yeah,
And they, in that
we should
12
be
months,
able
they
to
lost
do
their
it,
manager,
right?
they've lost their best midfielder, they've lost so many people.
should be able to
And they arrive at Man United a year on, and you spent X amount more, 100 millions, and you still haven't progressed as a side. I don't know. It's the one, constant in that.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know what's going on.
Johnson, you're fired. Why? It's not you. It's your shirt. But it's Casual Friday. Well, you've taken it too far. Look at Gibson. He's wearing a true classic tee. It fits him tight in all the right places, but leaves the perfect amount of room in the front. God, I hate that guy. He looks so good in that shirt, he can basically do whatever the hell he wants around here. Gibson! Yeah, boss? You're a goddamn stud. Thanks, boss. True Classic is designed to enhance the male physique in all the right...
Hello, welcome to another episode of SDS. Premier League Roundup is back here as usual every single week. We are uploading a day early today. That is because there's no Monday Night Football this week. So we thought, why not just film on a Sunday and upload on a Monday? If you guys like that, let us know. Or if you guys want to continue with the Tuesday uploads, let us know as well. But we have got a good cast today. So I'm going to introduce the cast first before we get into some big games that happened over the weekend. As you can see next to me, a man who's not usually here next to me. He's usually on the podcast quite a lot recently as well. He's been on it quite a lot. So you've been promoted to the seat right next to me. It's Fuad.
No round of applause. Come on. We don't like the rivals.
There's a delay. The reason you're here next to me is because we're called Mr. Winner's side of the table today. Because opposite us, we have two supporters of clubs that have lost this weekend. First of all, we've got Liban. Actually, wait. I don't know what Liban got to keep our shot. I don't know if they won or lost. Let's see what
you might have to double check. I didn't even check their results. That's my local club, though.
I'll keep your one.
Yeah. So I should be on that side. No. Stay on that side.
Next to Liban, we have, for the first time ever, his debut on SDS. It's Mr. Matisse.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. It's a privilege. The timing is crazy, though. I must say. This is on purpose, you know. You know this is on purpose. Right, this is what time was it? It didn't even blow your brother. But you know why they didn't bring it last week, but they want to bring it this week? Come on, G. Luton 3-0. Yeah, come on. Everything. So you're gonna come pop your chest, but Luton, please. This is so chat.
That's how it works. What are your first few appearances when Spurs are losing?
Listen, the game is the game. The game is the game. See how you swim.
That's how we work. Yeah, that's how it works. But obviously, it is Premier League Roundup. We do cover every single game of game week. We're gonna start at the highlight fixture of the game.
I think it's a hybrid for a second. I said, brother, that was years ago. Yeah.
We're gonna start at the highlight fixture of the game. I literally just came back from the game now. Emirates Stadium. Let me set the scene. Emirates Stadium. For me, the biggest game season for me. I tweeted before the game. I said, this is the fixture I look forward to the most. Not you guys. When the fixtures comes out, the first team I look for is Man United. When we play Man United, that's the first thing I look for. That is the timeline derby, the TL derby.
Yeah.
That is biggest London derby, and you'll ask me why, because most people I knew growing up in school, like Levi, are from London and Man United fans. So growing up in school, it was Arsenal versus Man United everywhere.
Stand up.
Man United came, visited the Emirates. Let's talk about that game, boys. Obviously, everyone knows the result. We won 3-1, but was it a 3-1 game? Was it justified?
Bro, you're gonna get slapped up in the defense.
A bunch of controversial decisions, a couple of VAR decisions. We've got to talk about the man in question, Kai Havertz. We've got to talk about, your boys, Ten Hag. Diaz was on when you guys lost to Spurs. He said some things. I want to know what you think about that, because obviously we've got a couple of United fans on this podcast, but they all think different things about their club. So it's going to be an interesting one, guys. So please, get your popcorn, relax and enjoy this one. Liban, I want to open the floor with you.
Yeah.
What do you want to say?
So I want to first start on the game, innit? I think the game today, I feel like we were hard done by. I don't think the result is a true reflection on the actual game. I think Man United done well today. I think the performance was good. I think structurally we played well. I think we did enough.
Moderate to severe eczema still disrupts my skin. Despite treatment, it's
to contain Arsenal for the majority of the game, especially in the second half. I think to be fair, I think the VAR decisions across the board were all good. I think I don't have any issues. I think the goal was on technicality of the rule. The offside goal was offside. I think the Havertz penalty wasn't a penalty. But
I haven't seen the replay of that. They don't show the replay.
Yeah, no, show replay.
Was it a dive?
He was falling before the contact was even made, and the contact was from him rather than Wan-Bissaka. So it wasn't a penalty. Like people try to compare it to the Rashford one last shot. It was not a penalty on on at all. I don't think that also on the other end, I don't think, looking back on the replay, if you're going by the rule book, Garnacho's goal was offside. But if you actually look at the actual game, I think Arsenal, there's a lot of question marks. I'll be real. I think the first 4 games, I've had them to win the title. And from what I've seen in the first 4 games,
because whoever you have to win the title doesn't win the title.
well, this could be the year, or it might not be. I think I might. From looking at what I've seen already, the first 4 games, I already am thinking that might already be a bad call. Do you know what I mean? They're undefeated, but let's be real. I think
I agree with you.
I don't know if it's
not great.
I don't. Yeah, it's not, and I don't know if it's because teams have now found you guys out slightly, or if it's because this tinkering of the system that Arteta seems to be doing with bringing in Kai Havertz, having Partey play right. But obviously today Ben White played there, but he got cooked. Let me just say that. Let me just play that on record.
By who?
Rashford cooked him today. Still.
You think Rashford had a good game?
I think Rashford had a good game today. I think Rashford was probably our biggest threat. I think he was our biggest threat on the pitch.
Hello
Yeah, you
everyone
can
from
argue
North
there was
London.
times where he made bad decisions,
My name's
but
Guy Mowbray.
in terms of
This
many
is
times,
alongside me for
every time
commentary,
he had the
and on the
ball,
way is a squad
you've got a
battles
sense
encounter.
that
Always something to savour. It's Arsenal taking on the Rockets.
Yeah, thanks as always, guys. It's a pleasure to be here. Anticipating a good game today and an atmosphere to match. Certainly been buzzing in here ahead of kick-off. Hopefully, we're not disappointed.
There's nothing on here. Because there's just no.
Expedia members save on travel.
Here's the lineup for Arsenal.
Greg the Shed
Yeah,
here.
they're playing a
The new Lawnmower
4-3-3.
4.0 is the
front
perfect
three
tool
are
for your
gonna need to
grooming
link up
experience.
well and make
Today,
sure the
I'm
centre
going to show you how to
striker
use
is
it.
isolated. If
Not
it's on
literally,
one side, can the
literally show
other
you.
winger
The
come in and
waterproof
be that
technology
second
allows
centre forward?
immersion up to 1 meter of fresh water.
Here's how Rockets line
If
up
that is a
today.
penalty,
Well,
there
it
should be a
looks
penalty
like
given
they're
every
gonna
single
line
game
up
for
the
this
same.
thing stuff.
They'll have
The
to make
narrative is
sure
just
that when they're
starting to
playing the
shift.
ball
It's the
out from
same
the back
narrative I've
with
seen
quality,
shift under Louis Van
because they'll
Gaal,
get
under
pressed
Jose
high and
Mourinho,
aggressive,
under
I'm
Ole Gunnar
sure.
Solskjaer.
But if they
It
win
is
those
just
ones
a
and
game
one
like,
back
why are you
goal
putting
into the
people's
pitch, they'll be
lives at
fine.
risk? Welcome back to Money Vibes, one and all. It's me, it's Zach,
Oh,
and it's
good
Doogie
defending,
reflecting
just
on the
when it was looking
weekend's
threatening.
biggest action. You know, the score by now. Shockingly, I'm here. Manchester United has turned out. I've turned
No
up.
golf.
Yeah, no golf today, no holidays booked in. I turned up. How was your weekend, Dukes? How was yours?
Yeah, it was fine, thank you. I had a couple of 30s, watched a fair bit of football, watched
A couple of 30s?
Yeah, it was a 2 in one night, but they're in pubs next door to each other, which is very handy. I just strolled along. Yeah, it was brilliant. They didn't know each other, the two people having it. But no, it was nice, and then watched a fair bit of football yesterday. Just was a very nice weekend. How about you guys?
Yeah, you guys were Halloweening. I was in a real mess yesterday. I was in Conor McGregor over it. I was in a serious pickle of
What did you go as?
I went as Conor McGregor. The theme was Vegas. I went as Conor McGregor. Zach went as one of those guys.
The theme was Vegas
dark.
and circus, because otherwise that makes no sense.
Yeah, it was Circus Vegas. The theme was Vegas.
I thought, judging by some photos of Henry Hill's, was very good. It was a royal flush.
Henry
Hill in the toilet seat.
Yeah,
cards
yeah, very, very good.
Yes, notable but yeah, not too bad. I think it's a little bit better than you.
And then obviously watched the football yesterday. Had a chill Sunday.
Did you go to the Chelsea game?
I did not. You know, let's say that's the bad omen. I wasn't there.
We will be discussing Chelsea later on the show, but of course we're going to be starting with the Manchester derby. Man City 3, Manchester United 0. Where to start with this one, Dukes?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost, so much went down in it, and so much has gone on in the build-up to the game, so much has gone on in the aftermath of the game, but I suppose we might as well start with the actual 90 minutes of football. And I thought, you know, you conceded 6 against them at the Etihad last year, but this was almost on that level in terms of how one-sided it was. I thought for the first 45 minutes or so, yeah, a couple of good opportunities on the break, Ederson making that pretty good save from McTominay, although he just hit it very hard at it. And there was another moment where McTominay should have passed to Højlund and then fails to get out of his feet. But it was just so one-sided, and if it wasn't for Andre Onana, who still looked a little bit shaky at times, but he did pull off some wonderful saves as well. I think this could have been 4 or 5, maybe even more. Really, really one-sided. Some really strange decisions from Ten Hag. The change at half-time, not playing Reguilon from the start. If he was fit to come on, surely you've got to make that happen. leaving Mount on the bench in a game that you needed legs in midfield. Amrabat looked well off the pace. And the less said about your better players like Rashford and Bruno, the better. It was a really disgraceful, disappointing afternoon.
Yeah, not a pretty one from my perspective. What do you make of it, Gillette?
I think, yeah, Diggy's kind of covered it well, really. Like, I think a lot of... What I was a little bit shocked at is going into this game that it almost seemed that afterwards everyone was shocked that United lost in this manner. And they felt like really over the past few weeks, yes, United have been getting points on the board, yes, United have been winning terribly. Yeah, playing really badly. Been kind of coming out of these games going, you know what, they're playing badly, but they're somehow getting points, and that's all that matters. And they come into a game against Manchester City, one of the best teams in the world, if not the best team in the world, and got destroyed. And that wasn't really that big a shock to me. If anything, actually, during that first half, I was like, oh, this is going a little bit better than I first thought. And then he makes a change to the midfield to bring on Mount, and just kind of shakes things up. And there are a few decisions that kind of went against United in this way. I don't think it's a penalty. Personally, I think that kind of... I put it online, I put it on Twitter.
They've been the better of the two sides. They've created some good opportunities as well.
If that is a penalty, then there should be a penalty given every single game this season.
Multiple times.
This happens all the time in every single corner and every single set piece of a free kick that's been crossed in. Like, I will say... It is a bit exaggerated by Rasmus Højlund. Like, it kind of goes on a little bit too long. Sometimes they let it go quite easier, a little bit easier.
It's just a bit immature.
It is a bit immature, and it's like, and Rodri sells it well. But like, Rodri's not even. I don't even know if Rodri's getting.
Well, that's the thing. I think they were like, he could make contact with the ball. I was like, hey, it's quite a long way away from him, going in at a fair amount of pace.
Exactly. And then like once that goes against you, and already in this scenario of playing Manchester City, a great team, and then you have a similar thing to what I think Chelsea do as well, where something goes against you and your heads drop, the players' heads drop, and once they drop, that's done.
Yeah, that's done. I think that's a real problem
for
United. That's definitely a real problem for United. The ability to bounce back from an adverse situation, and also the compounding of mistakes. Like they concede very quickly after a goal, or they concede very quickly after half time, as we saw in the second half here. It didn't take long for Manchester City to boost the defence. So we can talk about the penalty, I think, until we're blue in the face. I also thought it was a little bit soft, but it made no difference. Like it's a null and void talking point because the golfing class between the two sides is so vast. We saw at the sort of AGM or whatever it was where Richard Arnold was talking recently, him saying, we feel like we're closing the gap on Manchester City. It felt like after watching that, the gap has never been wider. Honestly, it was an extremely demoralising day at the office, and I was watching the coverage afterwards with Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher both making excellent arguments, and I was thinking to myself, you're both correct here.
Llorente. It might still happen.
We can talk about the off-the-field problems at Manchester United. We have spoken about that endlessly, haven't we? And clearly, that lack of leadership at the top has seeped into everything Manchester United do, and a lack of high quality at the top of the game, Manchester United, is affecting things that are going on the pitch. It's affecting the stadiums, the training ground. But Jamie Carragher's point, I also thought was correct. We are now 18 months into Erik Ten Hag's tenure, and he has bought 16 players for £400 million, and there is clearly a struggle with identity right now. Now, this isn't me saying that I think Erik Ten Hag should be sacked, because far from it. I definitely don't agree with sacking managers. I think they need much more time than that. He can manage 74 games for Manchester United, however many it is. He needs longer than that. But there has to be a better strategy for how we're deploying in these games. Like, I don't get how we're trying to score a goal. The graphic was doing the rounds at the start of the game, wasn't it? About, I think one of Manchester United's forwards has scored in the Premier League this season. There has to be more clarity at the top end of the pitch, and rhythm and patterns about how we score a goal. Because at the back, you can accept it to a level. You look at that back four on paper. I think a lot of people on Twitter were saying this is one of the worst back fours we've ever seen from a Manchester United team, and fine, I don't think it is the worst back four I've ever seen from a Manchester United team, to be honest with you, but you can clearly see there are issues there because of injury. So, okay, you might concede a couple of goals here and there, but the lack of rhythm in attacking areas, the lack of build-up play, I don't understand what we're
trying to do still. So I think Jamie Carragher was right, I think Gary Neville was right as well at the same time. And I slightly worry now that, you know, the narrative is just starting to shift. It's the same narrative I've seen shift under Louis van Gaal, under Jose Mourinho, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, that after the first season, very successful, either the second or the third season, at some stage, results start to go against the club, the narrative shifts, and the entire blame gets put on the manager. And I just see it happening in the media, online, and to some extent on the field yet again.
Do you not think, like, do you think United's attack has regressed then from last season? Or do you think it's just because Rashford...
It was terrible last season. United's attack was terrible last season. I think we scored the lowest amount of goals in the top 10.
But right now, as you mentioned, only one ball scored so far in 10 games.
Yeah, and
so is it even worse than last season?
Well, you'd have to say statistically, yes, but I think Højlund is an upgrade. So, like, I know he hasn't scored, and people were like really trying to force that 007 narrative yesterday, weren't they? When I think he scored 3 or 4 goals in the Champions League. I think he's a really good player, but clearly the service is not getting to him in the areas. You see him sprinting across the 6-yard box. You're like, just square it, and it's never finding him, and that's a problem.
What would you do? Like, it right now we're saying that there's no attacking.
Hey there, how are you?
I think you have to get Bruno back in the 10. I don't understand the idea of moving your best player, the most creative player in the team, out of position into a wide area. I thought it left Dalot a little bit exposed as well in that right back situation, because he had to come inside Bruno to support the midfield, and that's where he wants to be creative, so there's a lot of room out wide. I think you've got to get him back in the 10. And then, look, I love Marcus Rashford, but maybe he just needs a little bit of time outside. This is not me saying I think he should be dropped permanently, but I think football should really be a meritocracy in terms of your form on the field to a certain extent. And I would give probably Garnacho a little bit of a run in the team. I don't think there'd be anything wrong with that. I would probably give Mount a right wing potentially at this stage. I think there's no harm in trying a few different things at this stage. Maybe one game out the side. You know, causes Marcus Rashford to find his form again. We saw him, you know, drop for Wolves last season because he was late for coming onto the team bus. Came into the game immediately, just wanted to prove everybody wrong, smashed one in the winner. So I think, you know, I would like to see a little bit more of a meritocracy in forward areas, and then tactically, it is very hard to build from the back when you've got so many injuries back there. Overall, though, it feels like the narrative is already building, the pressure is starting to mount on Ten Hag.
What's also concerning, it's not just like the attacking patterns of play. I also thought your work rate was really poor in this game. Like, Dalot was being completely overloaded on his side throughout the entire game with Bernardo making these amazing overlaps. Could have scored way more goals down that side. Grealish had Dalot, you know, very much, you know, in his back pocket. I thought they were so comfortable, and it just feels like, as Zach says, when things go against you, your heads drop, your work rate drops, and your anger levels go up, but your work rate doesn't. That was why anger levels as well. Like anti-booting players like Bruno just asking to be sent off. And I know he's trying to show you that he cares, and he does care. He's a super competitive player, but less said about Anthony, the better. But Bruno has ability, and I feel like he loses his head in big games. And you conceded 3 yesterday. You conceded 6 against them last year. You conceded 7 against Liverpool. Like, you do have a real pattern of complete capitulation. And I think it's partly down from yes, we talk about behind the scenes, but it's about leaders on the pitch. It's about turning up at big moments, and I think you just drown in scenarios like that.
It's bizarre though, isn't it? Because you think classically, you know, I would describe Varane and Casemiro as leaders on the pitch for Real Madrid. I would say they are. I would say Luke Shaw is a leader on the pitch when he plays for England.
But it can change, right? Like going Real Madrid, the whole dressing room are basically leaders. Like they're rubbing shoulders with Modric, they're rubbing shoulders with Benzema at the time. Now, you know, they go to Old Trafford into a scenario when they enjoyed it wasn't necessarily, you know, amazing. And they're looking around the dressing room going, well, who do I've got Bruno over here.
I know, I agree with that. At certain parts of last season, let's take the 7-0 aside, because obviously that was a total club capitulation. Like, I think there were clear signs of improvement, clear signs of leadership, and like there is a narrative in the debate sort of being built online that it's a sign of Ten Hag's improved no players, and you know there are no leaders in this team. Well, you know, prior to this season, if we were to say this season hadn't started yet, you would have said he's improved multiple players. Rashford
Football's fickle though, isn't it?
It is fickle, but like 2 weeks time, I understand. But we weren't saying there was no leaders in the team last season. I don't think we were saying there's definitely an improvement in leadership in the team, and it was the right decision to give Bruno the captaincy.
I still think we would have said probably on the shows after the big losses that, you know, you do lose your heads in these games. And is that down to leaders? Is that down to lack of quality? I also think the Glazers' point is really relevant, but at points you can't just always go back to the Glazers. Like, it does need to reflect on the players, it does need to reflect on the manager, his tactical decisions, and I think every facet of Man United at the moment is under par. It's not just the Glazers, and so I think the Glazers is almost too easy an excuse just to go back to every time, even though it of course is the overarching issue. It just kind of negates any other focus on any other area of the football club, which is all underperforming.
Yeah. What do we think of Man City? I thought they were absolutely excellent. I thought it was one of their best performances.
Jack Grealish's best game so far this season.
Bernardo was a genius.
Stones very good flop.
It's really interesting as well. Pep talked about Bernardo afterwards, because for the past couple of years there's always been that talk about Bernardo wanting to leave, wanting to go to Barcelona, and Pep saying that he's had a kid, and it seems like his mindset has changed and he wants to kind of stay at the moment, which is nice. We'll see what happens come the summer or even January, whether that stays. But Haaland just, that's what Haaland does best. Like, if anything, over the past few weeks, it feels like actually Haaland's not been spoken about as positively for once. And then obviously the Manchester Derby happens and he can be the main headline. But I thought Jack Grealish really...
Do you stream daily? I try to. Not always.
One of the biggest talking points about Man City recently, especially obviously with how brilliantly Dokken started to life at Man City. And kind of showed that, when you need a bit more experience, more bigger occasion.
That's the perfect game for Grealish, where he can draw in fouls, he can draw in players, he can dribble inside, and use that underlapping run of Bernardo Silva like that. He always plays well against United.
His spatial awareness is really good, isn't he? He's always aware of where the other players on the pitch. He's probably not as electric in a one-on-one situation as Doku, but he basically reverted back to the treble-winning team with Gavardiol. And everyone kind of knows each other so well on that side. Thought Stones was excellent as well, doing that sort of hybrid role as well. Alvarez was brilliant. That side knows how to win. They know how to dominate. They've got great memories of battering Man United. Even though they did lose at Old Trafford last season, let's not forget. So, it's not always been as one-sided in these derbies. Like, are your results in the derbies under Ole, for example?
Even those results, this is, not that they were sticking past the results, but it was a game of City dominance with United hitting on the break, United playing like a team.
Like the Wolves playing City or something.
Exactly. And that is probably the biggest problem area, I think, for Manchester United, is that even when we've got these results against big teams, and United's away record against big teams under Ten Hag is much spoken about, horrendous. At home, we still are playing like
a mid-table
counter-attack team. And to a level, you've got to do that against Man City, because you can't expect to go out there and just be ball dominant against Manchester City. Very rare we see that. But there's still some level of control out of possession and in possession, and United feel like they don't have that. It feels very erratic. It feels like suddenly the only way we're going to do something is suddenly 2 good touches by Rashford, Bruno or Højlund, and then we're away, and it's a chance. And I can't remember, even under Ole, like Jose, Lou, I can't remember a game where we've just, in the derby, where we just got hold of the ball and been like, okay, bit of composure in the midfield, control in and out of possession.
Definitely.
Especially, I think that first, the first 10 minutes or so, you had that Rasmus Højlund kind of opportunity where if Victoria passes, he could have a chance. There is also as well, actually, if Højlund maybe is a little bit older, more experienced, there's a shout where he could go down, kick out the keeper, push a little pushback. Outcome.
I also think with counter-attacking sides, you kind of need 2 or 3 perfect passes. You need because the margins are so small on the counter-attack. You don't have any way of sustaining and building possession as a Man United side at the moment. You kind of need, it was the same with Wolves a few years ago. It's almost the perfect goal needs to be scored. Like 2, 3 quick passes into space, someone cuts in, someone makes something happen magical, and it just feels like none of your attacking players are playing their absolute best at the moment, and your in-play possession is just non-existent.
You need a game where you can just be good on every front right now. Obviously, a lot of clubs do.
That's what
it's almost like in the games you've won. Copenhagen, it's like games which you could have probably
Brentford goals. I think as well, it's a big next 5 or 6 games, because the run is quite easy for United on paper coming out of this. Obviously, Newcastle is not going to be an easy game to Carabao, but United can't afford to get knocked out. Newcastle with Carabao. Fulham, I think it's Luton, I think it's Copenhagen, another must win there. Obviously. So I think there's 4 or 5.
vital interception here.
If winnable games before a really tough run,
Trent Alexander-Arnold.
United have got to win those games. They've got to win away at Fulham, and they've got to win at home to Newcastle. If United lose at home against Newcastle and go out the Carabao Cup, like, I think it's going to get really, really toxic.
Or at least don't lose heavily. Like, I think you could lose to Newcastle, because Newcastle are playing pretty well this year.
Like, I think any manner of loss there is going to get really short.
And then he shows a lot of composure with the finish.
Yeah, I don't fully understand the decision not to pick around Reggie on there, I'm not going to lie. And please God, we just need Luke Shaw back, man. Like, we had no left footers in the back four, and you just can't get the ball to Rashford. The build-up's just non-existent to Rashford, but not a good day at the office for Manchester United, a very good day at the office for Manchester City. Should we leave Arsenal first, or should we continue with the negativity and talk about Chelsea?
We can Chelsea, sure.
Let's get Chelsea out of the way, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those typical Chelsea games where for 45 minutes you think, God, how have we not scored a goal? How have Chelsea not put the ball back in the net? Played really nice football. Cole Palmer looked like the best player on the pitch. Was really, really strong to be fair. Probably the whole 90 minutes. He
is fantastic.
He really is. It's almost like Chelsea kind of lucked their way into a signing.
It was your last signing, wasn't it?
And he wasn't. It wasn't really a signing that was ever really happening. Exactly. But he was really good. Sterling really good for the first 45 minutes. Matter has a chance where he hits the woodwork. I think Bachelet coming in really well actually on Nicholas Jackson. It almost feels like he needs a lot more coaching, kind of what it is to be a forward.
That's running in a straight line.
Yeah, and sometimes it's also just like he's not even doing that. He's just standing and just waiting for the action to happen, and then he'll do it rather than trying to be the action. I think,
but he's so raw. I mean, we said it at the time.
He's raw. He
started 16 league games, top 5 league prizes this year.
So it's not necessarily a shock, but obviously it's not new news that Chelsea have needed a goal scoring striker for a while. And so whatever player they bring in, he's going to be the person that gets the brunt of it, really, and that was Jackson. Like, you do wonder if it was someone of a more experienced, up top in that game against Brentford. Do Chelsea score 1 or 2 goals in that first half? Does he create space to allow Cole? Like, there's a great bit again. Well, not great bit, but there's a clip you see where Cole Palmer picks up the ball, is looking towards Jackson to be like, why have you not made?
Where's your movement? Yeah.
Passes the ball off, then looks at him again. He's still not run. Gets the ball again, and he's still not run. And so look, those things can be improved. What needs to... It's a shame, because when you're playing against Brentford, who are playing counter-attack, obviously at half-time, Thomas Frank has obviously a proper goes into them during the talk, and they get a throw in down the
set pieces were so dangerous.
Yeah, managed to get the cross in, and then like Disasi's sleeping it right back, like.
And he's in the team, isn't he, for that moment? Because he's not playing. He's in the team for set pieces, surely. Yeah, precisely. That's why Brentford is so dangerous. Like, how is he falling asleep with Ethan Pinnock behind him?
Yeah, it's crazy. And it comes from a counter-attack as well. And like the second goal, obviously it looks funny with Sanchez and that, but I kind of disregard the second goal because obviously the keeper's going out for the corner.
I don't know. The optics of it is so bad when you can see the goal like that in the final minutes. Like,
I just think that
just seeing the goalkeeper just running back as fast as he can, like, and then concede another goal like that. It's just so embarrassing. It's not even particularly Sanchez's fault. I just think lose 1-0. How many times has a goalkeeper scored from a corner? It's probably happened forward. Schmeichel's done it and Alisson's done it. I think that's the only times in Premier League history. Like,
I don't think it's terrible. I would agree. Like, apparently Poch wasn't too happy with him going up.
I'm not surprised.
I think managers have kind of gone off that now.
Which I always find a bit bonkers that like you've gone up without giving you the approval to do so.
Yeah, they're not.
There is also a moment as well.
He did make a good save,
like Ian Maatson. He had a good game, apart really overall. There's also in that build-up like Ian Maatson kind of goes down way too easily. Like
on the edge of the box.
Know the keeper's up. But anyway, look, the first half was really good. Just need to find a way to put that ball in the back of the net, which is always the biggest issue. And it's funny because like a lot of Chelsea fans keep saying about like how we're better against better teams, and like this season that has looked like the case. However, the majority of the time you're not playing against better teams. You are probably going to play against teams that want to defend it, and that has years been Chelsea's issue.
That's been figured out now, hasn't it? That if we just sit deep against Chelsea and we mark the edge of our own 18-yard box, like Brentford did it perfectly. Like, break us down there.
They did it perfectly in the second half. They didn't in the first half. They really didn't. In the first half, any other team apart from Chelsea and United probably score a goal. Seriously, like they do. Like, any other team probably score 1 or 2 goals.
But Brentford haven't been brilliant this season either. Like it's not the Brentford we envisaged of last season, where like they are going to everyone and beating everyone. Like they've been very up and down.
That's how they want to.
They were up and down this game. Honestly, they were. Like I think you could honestly ask Brentford fans afterwards and say, was this a really good performance by you? And the second half, I'd say yes. But first half, it was honestly like watching 2 different teams.
It's quite mad. There's some mad statistics doing the rounds. Since April the 1st, 2023, Brentford have won more Premier League games at Stamford Bridge than Chelsea. What's going on with your home form?
It is quite dire. Like going to games at the moment at Stamford Bridge is quite.
What's the atmosphere like?
Oh, it's not good. Definitely not good. I think it's good in big games.
Yeah.
But as I mentioned earlier, like you're not playing big games every single week, and I think generally right now the atmosphere is not great at all. Apparently, when Jackson was walking towards even at half time, a fan went to him, "When are you going to score a goal?" And he kind of told him, like, "Should," which is crazy, absolutely crazy. That's happening, and like there is a lot of negativity there. I think at the moment about these games. It's all. I put it in the chat beforehand. Like you were saying, Chelsea are playing really, really well. Okay, we're
15 minutes they're losing 1-0.
This is
the Critchley curse in real time.
Purring, I think was the word.
Purring. Briefly purring. There's a couple of purrs, small ones.
This is where it's at the moment. Where I think a lot of Chelsea fans aren't like shocked that this has happened, and that kind of negativity also spreads onto the pitch. You can kind of not to the pitch, well, slightly onto the pitch, but you can kind of feel it as well when you're going to games. Like no fans, every fan just like,
And I think this is partly the problem with not playing midweeks. I know there are positive with playing midweeks, like we talk about, not playing the Europa League on Thursday and stuff. But when you don't play the midweeks, you then have to sit on a result for 7 days, and it's like stewing. Tottenham away on Monday. Tottenham away on Monday.
Lucky enough in that we've not had anything. For instance, we've had still a couple of midweek games where we've been able to do that without when the negatives have happened. Like we've got Blackburn in the cup this Wednesday. In the Carabao Cup, I think quarterfinals.
Oh yeah, of course.
If you get a win with that, then you're in the semi-finals. Then you're against Spurs.
Man United and Newcastle are playing each other as well, and Arsenal I think are still in it. There's not actually, and Man City are already out.
So this is what I mean. There is a possibility of having a positive from Wednesday. But yeah, you're right. Like Spurs now, and like it'll be interesting. It will be really interesting, that game.
How do you think that's going to go? Pochettino going back to Tottenham Spurs Stadium.
I think it's such a feisty game. To Spurs, like Spurs have been amazing. They really have.
Yeah.
But I still look at their defence and think they are gettable at times.
What, straight line Jackson?
I think.
But look, we might do what we did against Arsenal, not playing Jackson, which I think would be a smart option.
Your biggest issue, I think, in this game, watching it, was actually so much of your build-up went through Cucurella and Tasasi, and Tasasi at right back is obviously just not his position. And Cucurella is very good, very solid between. I think he's actually a pretty solid defender, but his delivery I don't think is particularly good, especially for someone as
good.
No,
they didn't have Enzo either, did they? No Enzo does.
No Enzo as well. But Gallagher played pretty well. Cole Palmer was playing in front of him. Like, there's not massive issues in midfield. There's just, I think, a slightly below average for at least a top 6 side goalkeeper and a very raw striker. And a lot of wingers, young attacking midfielders that don't have the goal scoring record at Chelsea just yet.
I mean, it'll get better eventually. I do generally believe that. And we focus on Blackburn. But, fair play to Brentford.
Yeah, just to touch on Brentford as well. Back-to-back wins, like you said. I think they're in 10th now, 8 points clear of relegation. They just get through to when Tony gets back. Just get through to when Tony gets back and finish sort of mid-table.
Depends if he stays. Like they might sell him in January.
No,
you're talking about Chelsea striker. Would you be surprised if Chelsea wants to bid 60 million for him?
Nothing surprises me about Chelsea.
They wouldn't sell him for